你坐呢張係啊？
呢度咪得咯。
Okay, we are live. Hello, hello. Hi, people. My friend here is Julia. She's from Hong Kong. Was from Hong Kong. She hasn't been back. How long have you haven't been back? Since
2017.
2000. Okay. I'll just close the door. Yeah. Okay. So actually, she's pretty nervous today. But you guys are awesome. And thank you for joining my channel. She's Julia. Let me introduce her again. How long have you been here in Canada?
4 years.
Oh, wow. Time flies.
Yeah.
She's been here for 4 years. Wow, that's a long time. Hey, Dennis, that's you, man. How are you doing? Awesome. I haven't seen you, man. Only on the Facebook. You give me a like on Instagram. Yeah, check your Patreon, man. You're my awesome Patreon. Check your messages. I'll send you a message, okay, Dennis? Cool, man. So I'm just gonna ask her a few questions just to give you an idea. So why she decided to come to Canada, to migrate to Canada, right? So what was the main reason you decided to come to Canada? What attracted you? Why didn't you decide to stay in Hong Kong?
Can I speak Cantonese?
Yeah, she can speak.
Okay. 加拿大好舒服啦，比較平靜啲啦。
Oh, so she likes the life here. I think the quality of life because she likes it is really quiet, it's peaceful, and a different lifestyle, right? You like a different lifestyle. Great. Yeah. So it's 4 years, man. Not been able to go back to Hong Kong. Do you miss Hong Kong?
Yeah.
You miss Hong Kong? If you want to go back to Hong Kong, what is the first thing you want to do, or the things you're always putting on your wish list?
Maybe to Hong Kong. Just visit my relative.
Yeah. A relative? Yeah. Oh, so still she has family there and she wants to visit her relatives and all that. And by the way, she didn't come over to Canada during all the party time, right? All the we'll just call it party time for Hong Kongers. Yeah, so she left way before the party time, way before the COVID mess and all that. And yeah, so you're a permanent resident already, or what's permanent. Your status? You're permanent, so you can get your passport and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like for example, like a lot of people would say, "Oh, Hong Kong has a very good healthcare system. The doctors take good care of you. You only pay like $15 US every time you go in. Doesn't matter if you're staying in a hospital or you're just going for emergency. It's only a $15 flat fee as long as you have a permanent resident ID card in Hong Kong." So what is, for medical, have you done any medical, like you got your care card?
Yeah.
Your medical card, and have you happened to go to the doctor? Yeah. Oh, okay. You can speak Cantonese. It's okay. Yeah. Be more, not as, she's really nervous, guys. She'll just say, "Oh no, I'm not gonna go on. I'm not gonna go on." But please, somebody, can they take over? They take over my interview. No, it's okay because see, people later on they're gonna be at least, I think, a few hundred people gonna see, but it's okay. We're all cool. Like, this is my Patreon here sending messages. Yeah, actually, my friend Dennis met me in Hong Kong. I took him to Daigalog.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a fast Hong Kong style fast food restaurant, and I showed him, tea time, and the food was really good too, right? Yeah, the COVID thing, so it's really inconvenient to go back to Hong Kong. Hong Kong has the most strict quarantine confinement nowadays. It's 21 days.
Yeah.
Right? But did you hear about? You still keep really close tab to the news in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just now, the latest news in Hong Kong was, what happened? Yeah, the hotel, they're staying at the Residence Hotel. There's 2 Residence Hotel, and the Filipino nannies were staying there, the domestic helper, and somehow, instead of getting quarantined, they got the COVID variant in the hotel. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
And they suggest staying in the hotel for 28 days, extending.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And now they are blaming the Chinese lab for contaminating the things. And they were also blaming, like, they're putting like the hooks for your food on the door handles. So they were blaming the hooks that contaminated other room.
Yeah.
So the variant passed through these little hooks. And so unfortunately, Hong Kong Health Department hasn't got it cleared. So that was really bad. And the injection now, the Fohing, the Chinese
Yeah.
one.
Mhm.
And have you taken your injection yet here in Canada?
Not yet.
Are you?
It's
你想唔想去？ You wanna go?
未到我年紀。
Oh, you're too young, so you don't. She's young. That's why she doesn't. You can't line up yet, right? Since she's young. Okay, that's interesting. But I think more than 20 people has died from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Right? You hear? So sad. Huh? 20 people, including a doctor from a public hospital, Queen Elizabeth Hospital. One doctor, he's not that old either. I think he's in his 50s or something like that. And he died from after the injection. And still now, the government denies that has to do with the injection at all, the vaccine. So they died of something else. So all these we would hear from the health department that, oh yeah, it wasn't the shot, it affected people, but it was something else, right, that it got infected. But now nobody's lining up to get the Chinese one, Fohing. I don't know the Chinese name. You know the English name? English name, Fohing or something?
Yeah, Fohing.
Is it Biotech?
Biotech.
Is it that one? Biotech, yeah. That's the mainland Chinese vaccine. Do you go much to mainland China?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she doesn't. But now they're trying to say, oh, if you get the Fohing, Biotech, you can use like a vaccine passport to go to mainland China. So I don't know about that one. Would you? A lot of people want to go back to China, and my friend has a wife. Usually, a lot of Hong Kongers will have a young wife in mainland China, and the man will be probably over, like 60 years old or so, and the wife will probably be like 26 years old. They get married, and the wife wants security in mainland China, so they will like have at least a couple of babies or a son. But now they since the COVID from December of 2019, they're unable to go back to visit their family, and if they can't come down to Hong Kong, they have no education, so they have to go back to mainland China for the education. And then plus when they go to Hong Kong from mainland China, they have no place to stay. And what is it like living in Hong Kong? The rent in Hong Kong, is it crazy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So now you have a place here. Yeah, people saying you're shy, you're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
She wanted to wear sunglasses too. Yeah, she's shy. It's okay. I'm shy too. Yeah. So they are unable to go, and the husband couldn't go to China because if he goes to China, he has to quarantine for 14 days in mainland China. But if he's working in Hong Kong, it's not possible. Like you have to be in a hotel for 14 days. And then after that, you spend time with the family, and then you have to go back to Hong Kong. So there will be it's pretty much impossible because he has to make a living, Yeah, and plus, talking about rent, so it's pretty unaffordable to mainland China to come to Hong Kong to rent a place. It's so expensive. And believe it or not, here in Vancouver, the place for a reasonable, like a small 1-bedroom apartment here to rent will cost you the same price as a car park space in Hong Kong. Yeah,
really true. Yeah,
it's true, right?
Yeah,
it's just a rectangle, right? A car park space will cost about the same as a small apartment in Canada here. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah. So you guys, if you have any questions, hey David T, David T, see these awesome subscribers. I met them in Hong Kong.
Oh.
Yeah. See, David is from Oklahoma. That's why I studied in Oklahoma, and he met in Hong Kong. We had lunch together. He's awesome. So don't be shy. So there's Julia. Say hi to Julia, guys. She's shy with a mask. Grab that mask off. So if you have any questions, please fire at her. She'll be more than that happy to answer. And we've actually met for a long time. I think before I met her, I wasn't even married yet. I was. Say hello to you, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah. So we met before I was before I got married. But that time, I have so many girlfriends. Unfortunately, when you get married, you have to split up with all your girlfriends, and the girlfriends would ignore you because they know you're getting married. So it's pretty quick process, all jokes aside. Yeah. So so how about your spending now? Spending money like for cost of living, for food, groceries, or driving and stuff like that compared to Hong Kong. I mean, in Hong Kong, if you had a car, you probably won't even drive it because it's really costs a lot and the time consuming to park in a car park a few blocks away and then walk to the place, right? And then pay like $50 US for the parking, right? Hourly rate.
Yeah.
So how, like here now, how you get around?
喺呢度泊車係唔使錢嘅，可以仲泊正喺門口嘅。
Really? Well, so that's a privilege. So she was saying that here is really awesome because there's no, in the suburbs, there's no charge for parking. And if whatever place you want to go to eat or shop or whatever, it's free parking.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome. Because even in Hong Kong, you park your car, you still have to walk quite a long ways, right? And sometimes the parking is really full and there's a big lineup, right, to get your car. So life is definitely different. How about for food? Vancouver, Canada has really awesome Chinese food.
Yeah.
Do you think so? If you compare Hong Kong food to Vancouver, Canada's Chinese food, what is your comment or during these few years?
其實都唔係好大分別，都好似香港嘅食物呢度。
Oh, okay. So the food is pretty much on par with Hong Kong. This is what I think too, And the portions in Hong Kong, you see the reason she's laughing of the portions because in Hong Kong you only get micro dishes. Dim sum. Yeah, the battery. So what do you think of dim sum in Vancouver?
A lot of dim sum like Hong Kong. Yep.
Is it no difference at all? Not even in Vancouver. Would you say in Vancouver is it better here or better in Hong Kong, or the taste different, or variety? Is it 多啲種類啊 for dim sum and stuff like that?
其實呢度都有啲係 traditional 嘅點心，即係好舊式嘅，佢哋都有咯。
哦 ，OK。
咁新式嘅，即係有啲好 colourful 嘅點心，佢哋又會有咯。咁係其實都好多種類，即係其實都好模仿香港，都好似係。
Okay, so it's pretty much 100%, like 99, 100%. Even she was mentioning for the Chinese. Sorry about the microphone. Here we're trying to get it closer, and I can monitor, make sure it's working. The battery was not doing too well. Yeah, we got I was so dumb. I changed the batteries, and I put one empty one in and one full new battery, and I don't know which one's the new one. So hopefully this mic will last. So we're talking about even a traditional dim sum. She was saying that they even have the traditional instead of the fancy ones nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and tonight she was really nice. She got us some Shanghainese food.
Yeah.
Shanghainese food is completely different to Cantonese, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's really an important friend for me, for my family, because she knows where to get the good food. she knows where to get the good food, and she brings it to go and shares it with us, which is awesome. Because all I do is home cooking, right? She loves my oxtail soup, right? Yeah, and last time I made some cream asparagus. Yeah, and I told her, don't worry. Don't worry, it's not canned soup, right?
Yeah.
Because she saw me last time the cream of asparagus, I made it like in half an hour. And I showed you how much cream and butter I put in, right? So how did you feel? 中唔中意啲 cream and butter? You know, the missus always diet conscious, right? But when I showed him the blob of butter and the cream, yeah, but doesn't matter because it's yummy, right? Yeah, so and we were talking, having a conversation, saying today there's a place that they say, hey, hello, hi, Chow Ming, yeah, hello. Yeah, so I hope we can speak Cantonese and somebody can understand, right? Your Cantonese is really good, better than me, and my Chinese level is not very good. Yeah, and let's talk about, like, do you never think that I'm full Chinese, right? Because I was brought up here, right? Over in the States. So what is your impression? Like, I mean, obviously there's a stereotype, right?
Yeah.
For even among Asians. So like ABC people, what can you tell them your impression of me? I won't be offended, but my viewers, my subscribers would like to know, like, what do you think of me as, for you would think I'm pretty much foreigner, right, in Hong Kong, right? Yeah, so 鬼佬, yeah. So I'm a 鬼佬. See, guys, not only Western people call 鬼佬, they call me. She thinks I'm a 鬼佬. So when they think something in their mind or whatever, they would always say, "Oh, he doesn't understand. Don't worry about him." Right? She don't, he doesn't. It won't make sense to him. Stuff like that. Yeah, sounds like from Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma. That's where we're from. Okay, so one of Chong Ming asked you, can you speak Hakka? No Hakka.
Yeah.
Can you speak any other foreign dialects?
No.
No, or just Cantonese? How about Mandarin, 普通话? Yeah, so she doesn't really touch mainland China. The typical Hong Kong girl really doesn't go much to mainland China. It's very close, right?
Yeah.
But you don't really have much association with mainland China. Yeah. So this I think it's the British culture before. It seems the border is so close, right, between mainland and Hong Kong, but nobody really passes that border, especially before 1997, right? So that's the thing, yeah. So we have Chong Ming is a 鬼佬 uncle. Yeah. So what things in Hong Kong would you think, like, for me, is different? What things I wouldn't understand, you would think for me, like, because you think I'm foreigner. So in Hong Kong, what things you would think I won't understand or won't share because 真係同佢講得嘥氣啊，或者咩 right?
Yeah.
Would you say like all the traditional Chinese festivals, like 今日做冬啊，做all those things, right? Like you won't even bother to tell me because it won't even make sense to me, right? So like Chinese Thanksgiving or Chinese many little things every month, right? The Chinese calendar, they have all these things. So you would assume that I won't understand any of this too, right? And even Chinese New Year, I would not understand that I better shut my mouth and not talk a lot. Yeah, because she's laughing. Why? Because it doesn't matter what situation I'm in what things I'm celebrating, my mouth just goes wild, and sometimes I offend people, right? I make people 即係整到人好嬲 yeah. So she's laughing because she's seen me like speak 即係亂咁講嘢 and then just speaking nonsense and inappropriate during this festival, right? And it's just really offensive to the elderly people, right? Yeah, that's why she's having a blast. Yeah, so unfortunately, you guys know that I'm not even classified as Chinese anymore for local Hong Kong people, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's jump to another question. So what does staying here, do you feel any discrimination? The people like look at you weird or Chinese, Asian or
呢度有個叫多元文化咯，即係佢哋會好接受其他國籍，因為呢度多數嚟呢度生活 都係啲新嘅移民啊，或者以前嘅移民嚟咯。
Mm-hmm.
咁所以係好多元文化呢度。
Oh, okay, so this is Vancouver is pretty much a multicultural, city. Lots of other people coming from all around the world, and plus the population in Vancouver or BC, British Columbia, the province is not much people, only like 5 million.
Yeah.
Hong Kong is a dot, and they already have 7.5. So here, pretty much is like empty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, how can I say it? It's like so. There's a many different multicultural places in Vancouver, and you can have all not just Chinese Hong Kong food. You like tonight you got the Shanghainese food, or you can get Indian food. You can get like I've saw some Afghani food, Afghanistan, and a doner, right, and a lot of other Italian and many other restaurants, right, Greek restaurants. So it's good, right? We can have a lot of. So Charming asked you, so you don't how you speak English much, or you don't enjoy? It's just la la kaka. Okay. Today the word we're learning in Cantonese. She's learning the new word today we're learning is lak lak kak kak. Okay. Can you say it, please?
Lak kak kak.
Lak kak kak. Okay, remember that word. That means not very fluently. Just a little speaking, right? Yeah. So it's okay. Everybody, and plus the friends you get around, around, you gather speak Cantonese, and usually people like the circle of friends are from Hong Kong, right? So people would understand the culture, get along better, and won't. Usually it's the case. I think living in a foreign country, right? Yeah. So that's interesting to know. And it's interesting to know I'm not considered Chinese too, but it's good for honest opinion, because I always feel that, and they think, sick man, this very typical stereotype. Oh, what do you know? Oh, they don't nothing. Don't even bother to tell him. Oh, you want to try this food? Oh, they don't even eat it. What do you just buy him a hamburger or pizza? Right. Right? When you ask, I like to eat this special type of fish or something, he won't even know. Just buy him a fish burger from McDonald's, right? But there's a lot of varieties of fish, steamed fish, the way they make it in the Chinese. But it's true that I don't really understand the fish, the crab, and all that. Dai zap hai, you like. There's no dai zap hai. No. So in Canada, the hairy crab. There's no hairy crab here. Do you miss hairy crab? No, you don't really like it? Because in Hong Kong, people, import a lot of hairy crab from Shanghai. From that lake in Shanghai. And they eat all the butter, inside the gold, right? They love to eat it. Yeah, so have you guys just got any more questions? She's really still very uncomfortable. She's so shy. So have you guys, come on guys, you got to fire up some more questions or she'll be leaving me. It'll be really sad. So have you guys, just let me know if you have any questions, guys. So let's talk about your job. You feel comfortable talking about your job? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. And I was actually making fun of her because she has, in Canada, you have a lot of your own time. You relax, laid back. Right? And then there's a place, it's called Parker Place. I was laughing so hard. Parker Place is all the senior old Chinese people, right? Yeah. The senior people retired with a walking stick and stuff like that. And they would hang around there. And the funny thing is, the people are very nice there, and they're retired, right? Yeah. And they say, "Oh, the young girl, what job do you have? You have no job, nothing to do." And sometimes it's nice to keep yourself occupied, right? Right. So, tell my subscribers, what job did you get? End up. 你有咩工攞咗咩工？佢哋介紹啲咩 opportunities, job offerings for you?
Scuba driver.
Oh, so she drives a school bus. So anybody from Vancouver, you recognize this beautiful young lady with a mask on, and she's your kids bus driver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. So they introduce you to the academy
it's not,
or
yeah, it's from YMCA.
from
Yeah,
YMCA?
I'm from YMCA.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they have a network of people
Yeah,
and they
there are lots of-
introduce you, but you can't just go, oh, I want to drive a school bus, right? You need training
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
the company paid for all your training.
Yeah.
Oh, so was it easier? You know these people and they help you out，即係佢幫你係咪
Yeah.
容易好多啊？即係好過你盲衝衝。
都係嘅，即係會識人就呢度會做嘢好容易啊。
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you know the 關係, yeah, right? The good relationship because the guys probably retired from the bus company or YMCA
Yeah.
and they introduce you to driving the school bus.
Mhm.
So you had to do how long training did you have to do?
2個星期嘅 training。
Okay.
咁 and then 跟住就要考個試。
筆試啊，
咁筆試 and 路試。
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so she had to do for a 2-week training,
Mhm.
and then she had to go for a written test, and then have to go for a driving test.
Yeah.
So you drive the big school bus or the small school bus?
Small
School bus.
Yeah.
So every morning you have to wake up, and then
Yeah.
so is it a good job? You
Yeah,
enjoying
easy.
it?
Yeah.
Easy job.
Yeah. Easy
So you
job.
just follow the navigation.
No
and-
need now. Yeah.
No need. Oh, she already knows the
Yeah.
And I think the good thing is when school is out, you're out too. You have no, and it's okay with you.
Yeah.
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 And do you get to drive the school bus home? Are you allowed to?
Yeah.
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 So you can even save gas driving the school
Yeah.
bus around.
Yeah.
Did you drive the school bus today or no?
No. Yeah.
Oh, today's Sunday. Yeah. So you get to drive.
Tomorrow is Prodi day, so it's no school also.
Oh, tomorrow's our
Prodi day.
Prodi day. Okay,
Yeah.
so no school.
No
So
school.
she's off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Awesome. So I have a question. He asked, why did you leave Hong Kong? What makes you leave Hong Kong?
因為有個小朋友咁想去過嚟讀書。
Oh, so you believe the education is better here and you
Yeah.
want to have your family come here and your daughter, your children, you want them for them to have a better education.
Yeah.
So what was wrong with Hong Kong education? Or I know better, because I have kids too, but for you, what was your, the thing that actually triggered you to come over for the kids' education?
香港比較填鴨式啲，即係
嗯
學咗都唔知自己做咩。咁但係發現呢度嘅小朋友學咗，佢哋會明白自己學緊啲乜嘢，
Oh,
佢會自己去諗，去想去做啲乜嘢。
okay. So what we say tinapsik, right? So you know how they make the foie gras, right? You like
Yeah.
foie gras, and they stick the duck or the goose,
Yeah.
and they force feed
Yeah.
the food inside the throat to make the liver big, right? So that's the same way they call tinapsik.
Yeah.
Is forcing the kids, and they'll probably know and get a good grade.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they won't know anything because it's forced. You must compete to get the better grade, and if you don't, you fail, and people laugh at you, the teacher, everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to stay back 1 year behind.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
pretty sad. But
Yeah.
here, they actually have no pressure in learning,
Yeah, no pressure.
and they learn
No homework.
no homework, and, and they learn by themselves,
Yeah.
right? So, and there are a lot of sports
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Hong Kong, do they have much sports?
Mhm.
No.
No.
So it's just, it's sad. In Hong Kong, it's
Yeah.
true. They just run on the pavement or something like that inside just run 5 times, and that was PE, right?
Mhm.
Physical education. But here they do a lot of things. Hey, Mark, how are you? ¿Cómo está, capo? So Mark is another subscriber. He's from the Philippines. 佢係華人，
Oh.
菲律賓人. Yeah, so he lives in Manila. Yeah, so Mark is one of my subscribers. See, we know these are not strangers we're talking about, so don't have to be so shy. She's still really up to Yeah, so you play soccer and baseball in Hong Kong, the kids. What sports do they play?
In Hong Kong, basketball.
Basketball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think not much variety though, really,
Yeah.
honestly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they go to international school or local school?
Local school.
Local school, so the pressure
Yeah.
was on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my kids were in local school at the beginning,
Mhm.
and they cry every night behind our back.
Mhm.
The nanny would say, your daughter's been crying for 2 months already.
Oh.
And in the morning, they cry again. They don't want to go to school because the teacher will punish them.
Yeah.
Did you hear my story? Like my daughter, when we came back from LA, my daughter, and she went to local school, St. Paul Convent. Is very posh, very high, band one school, right? It's very hard to get in. She got into this school, and every morning when they sing the school song, she has to stand outside the door.
Oh.
And the students are laughing at her because she cannot speak Cantonese. 唔識講廣東話, so she say you're not Chinese and you have to stand outside the door until you learn how to sing the school anthem. You're allowed in. So it was really miserable for her. She was crying every day. Yeah. So you actually, when my daughter was in LA, well, you visit us, right? Yeah, she came to LA to visit us. She's very nice. Okay, guys, so I'll just continue my stream. I'll let you go. Okay, she's so happy to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's so happy. Thank you very much for helping me.
Yep.
Okay, you can take your mask off later.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's so happy to go. So here I am again. So hopefully my mic has some juice in it. It's so awkward, without juice. So I hope that was a good insight. How migrating to Canada was a really, she doesn't regret it all, and she was good, and her she's happy, she's has a great life, and the most important thing, she finds out the really best Chinese food, and she takes away and brings it us and shares the food with us, and that's really awesome because where they live downtown, so it's close everywhere, right? But we live a lot like on a hill, like a little bit away from the city, so there's not much choices we have. There's only like Denny's or some Western cafe stores, and not so much Chinese. They have some Chinese food, but it's different. They have the Sichuan food, they have the Hakka food, and it's good food. And the Sichuan food is really spicy, and they stick a lot of chilies on it, and it's kind of different because she doesn't even eat spicy food. A lot of Hong Kong people doesn't eat spicy food, so that's the culture of like Hong Kongers. They don't eat much spicy food. So it was nice of her to come by and do I told her to do the interview. She was nah, but I said, come on, just wear a mask. I said, wear sunglasses, wear a hoodie. That was so funny. Anyways, have you got any questions for me? But it's just so interesting today. And still now, let's go a little bit about the COVID in Vancouver, Canada. It's not good. It's really bad. No more dining in Canada. No more. You have to take out. You can't leave the province, or don't go on a vacation, don't go for a picnic or anything. They're all discouraging that, and they even suggested don't even go to a next city. So this is really bad. So I have a question. So are you living in Canada? I'm temporarily living in Canada, but I'm just waiting for a good chance. Or if they relax the quarantine laws or everything, I'll go back to Hong Kong. So my main residence was in the States, and now I'm currently working in Hong Kong. So I'm just here temporarily. And in my whole life, actually, I haven't really lived in Canada. I wasn't brought up in Canada. I wasn't, usually I'll just spend the summer like 2.5 months here to see my mom. And during Christmas time, we'll come skiing for a month or so during the Christmas holidays. And that is the most we would visit Canada. But now we're spending a little bit more time because it's really inconvenience for us to fly around. So I hope that answered your question. And Terry Lee, welcome to my channel. Thank you. Subscribe, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel. I hope you find, my lives a little bit more interesting. And this was one of my Patreon's idea. He said, why don't you do some interviews, might be interesting, and, tell your subscribers what's it like to do something, just to have a better understanding, and so in Canada, my father, actually he was an architect. My late father, he's an architect. He graduated in Australia, and he had an Australian license, and he worked in the States the most of the time, and he got an American architecture license, and then he came to Canada and got a license here too, and then he went back to Hong Kong to work for the government. So it was at his time, it was really unusual for him to get 3 licenses, to work in Hong Kong. So he got a pretty good career in Hong Kong, but he decided he wanted to make a second home was Canada. So that's where he got a house here and wanted us to come visit more to Canada. So that I hope that you understand. So who's staying in Hong Kong at our apartment? My son has been there for all this time. So we came here since November, and my son has been alone in our apartment in Hong Kong until now. And I don't know, he actually called me up 2 days ago and he said he missed me. And I said, you're already, you're an old kid now, big kid. Why you miss your dad? He says, oh, Dad, I miss you because you don't take me. I miss you taking me out to these fancy restaurants because there's not much opportunity for him to go out to dine out. Usually we dine out with our families and everything, and he's all by himself. And the reason he didn't come here, I told him don't come here because he was admitted to college last year, and they were all doing Zoom, so the campus wasn't really opened. And so actually he paid for the dorms and everything like that, but he didn't have to go there, so he got a refund on everything, and he just did Zoom meetings and Zoom stuff, from Hong Kong. And he's been living his life upside down. So now he's probably sleeping because it's in North America, it's nighttime, and he operates our time in North America just to accommodate his Zoom classes. And actually doing Zoom classes, he actually gets a lot of homework, more homework than going to college. That's what he told me. Yeah, kids. Oh dear, I wish I can visit him soon. So I wanted, I told my wife, maybe I want to go back early May, even quarantine for 21 days. I still need to go back, right? He's a good boy. He hasn't brought many friends partying at home or anything like that. And just the nanny cooks food for him, and he works in McDonald's, so he does his job and everything like that. So he's a good kid. Yeah, and he's getting his driver's license. He's getting his learner's permit in Hong Kong. I think this week or something. He's going for the written test. So Hong Kong is really hard. Yeah, he's doing a college in North America. So his time is North American time, but living in Hong Kong. So that's a sucky deal. But I told him, if you don't have to come here, don't come here, right? You're in Hong Kong. You don't have to move. You have to quarantine. You don't have to do anything, because in November, I told him probably in Hong Kong, everybody, really uptight about this COVID thing. Hong Kong probably enjoy more freedom walking around and everything in Hong Kong, which is true now. In Hong Kong, it's getting a lot better. The COVID, they're relaxing a lot of laws. But in here, the laws are really tightening up, squeezing up tight. And before, they even said they might have random roadblocks. So random roadblocks are for if you're traveling to another city, just like a 10-minute drive to another city, they can give you a $500 fine or something for leaving your suburb, So it's not good in Canada. What about living in USA? Yeah, during the summer times and stuff like that, my kids were actually met my wife in Los Angeles. She was living in Los Angeles, and that's where I met her. And my kids were both born in Los Angeles. So they are both from there. And my daughter always jokes that she's a Mexican because she was born next to a taco stand and a car wash. That's her joke. I mean, no offense to Mexican. We love Mexico. We've been to Tijuana, and that's one of our best videos, from for my channel. And my daughter always wanted to speak Spanish. And just for your information, my grandfather, he had Russian blood, and so my daughter now kind of looks Spanish. So when we're in LA, usually people, when she asks for something, they'll speak Spanish to her. And we always laugh at her. She's not, in our family. I don't know why you're not Asian. You're the only Mexican in our family. And she doesn't like cooking dinner, doesn't like helping cooking. But when you start making guac, making tacos or taco salad, she'll be the first one to get all the ingredients and gather to make all these food. She loves Mexican food. Even the beans, the black beans and stuff. She loves everything to do with Mexican food. Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese in Tijuana. Yeah. Thank you for watching my channel, man. I hope you've subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I hope you guys give me a like, and I'll really appreciate if you can drop a like. It's free, and hopefully it'll help my video, promote my video a little bit more during this logarithm thing. Yeah, sure would fit. David, actually, before the COVID start last year, when we moved here, when we just came over to see my mom, I think late February, because there wasn't any school. School was closed in Hong Kong because of COVID. And I probably told you before that I wanted to take a tour with her to the States. So I wanted to go to Oklahoma and Texas, Dallas with her. And after that, a few weeks' time, the COVID thing just exploded in North America. So everything got canceled. Oh, thank you very much, Terry Lee. You're awesome. Son can teach her. Cool. Yeah, kids with video games. Spanish is a very popular language, and it's pretty useful. Actually, my daughter went to Spain too, and she really loves the culture too in Spain. Yeah. And like, I don't want to be talking politics or anything, but everybody says Mexico's a shithole. You don't want to go there. Cartels and all that. But sometimes you just got to know where to go, and you just have to watch your back and be careful where you're going. And like in Tijuana, we went there. A lot of our friends said, "You're crazy, man. Why the hell you want to go there?" But we just stuck to the touristy places. We went to a mall and we did everything. And then we came back at nighttime. We didn't even bother to stay overnight. Went there a few times. Kids enjoyed, eating there. Went to eat this famous Caesar salad, which was invented in Tijuana. And yeah, it was good. Went to a Starbucks in Mexico, and even China. There's so much crap you hear about China. The government and just so much attacking. And sometimes you just see, why attack, China so much and stuff like that. And it's sad that, China, and I can't really say is it their fault or whoever fault it is, and I have no proof of doing, saying anything, but everybody's just trying to enjoy the life. I enjoy, I go to China, I do buy a lot of stuff. I went to, in China, you buy a lot of cheap electronics. I do reviews. People are super friendly. Even I haven't been back to Shenzhen for over a year now. And, believe it or not, the people from Huaqiang Bay, the vendors, they call me on the WeChat, talk to me. So how are you doing? We're doing fine. They're telling me, oh, not much electronic stores are here. Everything seems to be changing. The people are selling a lot of cosmetics. The mainlanders can't go to Hong Kong to buy all their stuff. So there's a lot of parallel imports. in Huacheng Bay. So you would go to Huacheng Bay to buy a lot of cosmetics. So more like the young ladies love to go to Huacheng Bay instead of the guys because they suited the market for all these parallel cosmetic goods. And you want your diapers and stuff like you used to go to Hong Kong, but you can't go to Hong Kong. So all these are being parallel imported to Shenzhen, and Huacheng Bay is the place. So these people, they keep in touch with me. They don't, they don't say, oh, you want to buy this from me? They're not selling, this just for friendship. And I do appreciate friendship. Like I appreciate you guys, and isn't it awesome that we just live in, in harmony? That's what I enjoy. Yeah, I went to Costco in Mexico too. Yeah, you saw my the one I went to Mexico in Costco, and let me tell you, in Tijuana, you video and people, the security are really uptight. They don't like you videoing. They'll scream across the street. Hey, amigo, stop it! No, they don't like you taking videos there. It wasn't that easy. Put it this way. Yeah, if I go to the States, actually, I can see the States from my window right here. I can see Mount Baker, Washington, and it only takes like 40 minutes to the border. It's no big deal. I don't have to. We got a special pass, and we just drive right across the border. There's no wait. We don't have to wait in line or anything. But the deal is, now they need to quarantine. So technically, I can just go to United States. I have all the right to go there, right? But if I come back to Canada, you have to do this quarantine for 14 days. I already did the quarantine here many times. Okay, believe it or not. So it's just being, it's a hassle. So, going down, because I mean, Canada's a great place, but me and my kids, my family's not brought up here. And the things we're used to, the brands and stuff like that, we can't buy it here. So usually when we live here, we go down to Winco or somewhere like 24-hour supermarket, get all our stuff, and come back. So it's different. My brother came here a few months ago. He said, "Oh, I want to get some Skippy, Skippy peanut butter." Right? I'm sure you guys would know what it is, but they don't. Unfortunately, they don't have Skippy peanut butter in Canada, or they will have it in a different name. But even in Hong Kong, a lot of stuff is being imported from the States. So a lot of things in the supermarket will be still used to, and all these brands are still from the States. You won't see too much Canadian stuff, shipped in the brands shipped in Hong Kong. So that's one of the things we're not used to. So the quarantine thing, it's a hassle. And even now, even if people driving from Washington State, dual citizenship, they have a Washington plate, driving around Canada, like Vancouver, and people key their car and tell them to go back to Washington, and that's pretty childish. This guy might be living here but just work in the States, and if a tag is from California, they'll key the car, and that's BS. So I had cars, even now I have cars that ship from LA. I drive it here, in the summer I just ship it back down or drive it back down there. So it doesn't necessarily have what tags of car, where you're from. That's, you're not an enemy of Canada, but they are getting, scratched up. So I'm working in Hong Kong. So I stay up pretty late at night. All my phone calls at like the after hours, because that's working time in Hong Kong. So it's different. In Canada, I don't have any business here. I just take care of, my family here. So that's pretty much it. I like Canada. We saw the sun. We saw the sun for about a week. It's awesome. I did the solar power thing. I charged up all my big batteries and stuff like that. But after that, yesterday it started to rain, and they say it's going to rain for 10 days. So unfortunately, it's going to be, raining. No more solar power. No more nice weather. Yeah, but it's Canada. That's how the weather is up here. and it gets, it's the least coolest place. My friends tell me, you're lucky in Canada because it's the least coldest place in the whole of Canada. So I should appreciate here and stop complaining, whining. It's not that I whine, but when you're used to living in Hong Kong it's already 98 degrees with probably 80% humidity. Right now, as we speak, people are going to the beaches. But outside here is probably already like 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, update on the guy breaking. Yeah, there's a guy breaking into my mailbox. Spent a few $1,000s redoing the whole mailbox thing. I put rivets, steel plates on the thing. It sucks, that you have to do that. And cameras in front, build a post and electrical and all that crap. And he's stealing my mail. Got all these credit cards, and bought a car. They used my name and bought a car too. And actually, these guys work in groups. They're gang related. And last time I talked to the police department here 2 weeks ago, they said that guy got murdered, so he's dead. So they convicted him. They charged him, but when he got bail, we went out and he got murdered. So that was the deal with that guy. So he's dead meat, I guess. But now, people don't. My mailbox is pretty safe now since I spent thousands of dollars. And identity theft really sucks. My brother had identity theft, and he can't even get a credit card himself now. He'll get denied because he's got so bad credit because of the people used his ID and his social security number. That really sucks. Yeah, you can't change anything. Yeah. You see, my daughter was born in San Bernardino. It was pretty close to San Gabriel. Yeah, now stealing, shoplifting, and stuff like that, these things you don't get big money. When you steal somebody's identity or scam someone through a phone call and stuff like that, you get a lot of money. So, nowadays, stealing money from you doesn't have to be physical. It just can be electronic, and that can really screw you up bad. And the thing is, they got all my bank statements and got all my information, and I renewed a driver's license. They mailed it to me. They stole that too, so they got all my ID, and they opened a checking account for my bank and opened a few bank accounts, and so they can transfer all my money out to that checking account, and they can just withdraw everything out. That was how dangerous it is. So the bank called me and says, I just want to verify, are you the person that's opening this checking account? I told no such thing. So they just cut off everything. Luckily, they called me up and told me about it. Thank God, Chase, Chase, I never had any problems with Chase, so they're pretty good. So have you kept in touch with Serpent? Yeah, we still talk once in a while, leave messages. He's doing well. And there's a lot of people talk about him, anti-China, all that stuff. But I'm friends with him. I hang out in Shenzhen in Hong Kong. And, I've been with him enough times to know he's really being discriminated because he's white. For example, there's a lot of films that he did in Huaqiang Bay. I was filming with him because if he hold that camera and walked in, he'll be kicked out in like 2 seconds. But if I was there filming, helping him out filming and stuff, they won't say anything because I'm Asian looking. See, I look Asian, okay? But my friend still thinks I'm not Asian. Isn't that sad? So, yeah, he's living in San Diego. San Diego? Yeah, San Diego. Yeah. And I was planning to look for him in San Diego, but somehow, we can't cross. The borders are closed and quarantine and all that crap. Yeah. And people hate him like talking about China and stuff like that, and says he works for the Falun Gong and stuff like that. But to be just totally honest with you guys, me, when I hang out with him, we never talk politics. We never talk about the government. We never talk things like this. We just talk about cameras. We talk about phones. We talk about cars, and nothing political. But I just see he's being discriminated a lot, suppressed in China in a way, and that's how I feel. And now, obviously, he has the freedom to say what he wants to say, right? Because if you're in China and you start opening your mouth and talking shit about government, it's obvious, what would happen, right? And yeah, I wrote, he did the AVD, the motorbike series. We went on a ride on C-Milk's motorbike, and I was a guy actually. I picked him up from Shenzhen airport. I picked him up from Shenzhen, and I took him to the airport when he left to the States. His first the first trip, back to North America with his working visa. I took him to the airport. I was the guy who sent him off. Okay, so you asked, do I hate him or whatever? No, we're just we're friends. We don't talk about politics and stuff like that. And he knows that I've influence in the CCP, because we do business in China, so it's obvious you need to have some relationship with China. And he got attacked by some idiot, and I just called that guy and I told him, back off. He's just trying to make a living. That's his livelihood. And I got him to talk to the phone. Got him. I never mentioned this, but told him that if you want to, if you don't want any trouble from the authorities, just back off from Winston. So he would, these issues, I help him out and stuff like that. And believe it or not, because I did videos with him, I got a lot of hate from the Wu Mao. So a lot of communists, they get paid for comments, and I get a lot of nasty comments from them saying that, I betray China and all that bullshit. How can I betray China when I have business in China, right? Yeah, he did a movie preview in Los Angeles too. And all the editing, on that thing, the team was staying at my place in Hong Kong. So if he wasn't friends with me, why would he stay at my place and do all that, right? So I'm not saying that I agree what he thinks. I'm not saying that I agree, the things he's doing is right or wrong or whatever. I'm not involved in anything politically with him. And we don't, as I said, we don't talk things political. If he wants my help in something, I'll be more than glad to help him out. Voice messages right now from him and stuff like that. And, but I haven't thought about doing a video with him or Zoom call or something, asking him how's he doing. I might do it later on, but, and one of the reasons, there's one video I didn't really want to do because I got so much hate from the Wu Mao. We had a little banquet with the CCP officials in Macau, and you see this big communist flag singing a national anthem and all that. I purposely did a video there, and I was a VIP there. I sat on the head table and all that. I can do whatever filming I want. Nobody stopped me. So that might give an idea to the Wu Mao, if you think I betray the country, I think you guys, the Wu Maos, better watch their mouth, because you know what I mean, right? So that's that's you seen that video. I look pretty communist, didn't I? With my shades and everything, and my bright red tie and stuff like that. I didn't really want to do that video, but I told Winston, I said, hey man, you brought me so much freaking hate. I didn't do anything, right? They hate you, not they hate me, but now they hate me. I have all these nasty comments on my channel, and that's why I did that video. And he said, yeah, just go ahead and do it. And invited him, come on. He said, nah, don't get me involved in this politics stuff. So he never got in. And another thing I also did a video. I never put the video together. Is that I went to the garrison in Hong Kong with the navies, the PLA military base in Hong Kong. I went in there. I can do whatever I want. I can just walk into I walked into their quarters. Everywhere we walked out. I almost walked into the warship and took around. But I was quite sensible, and you would see all these propaganda posters, Xi Jinping clapping his hands, and all these things. But I never, I don't want to be so, on whatever side that, it doesn't mean I support anything, but I'm not showing off anything. I'm just trying to be just a regular guy doing YouTube, but when these guys need help or whatever, the expats in China, they contact me and they're really nice. And even in Thailand, if you guys watch some Thailand, vloggers, they contact me. They look me up faster than I look them up. When I'm in Thailand, I start getting messages as, oh, this guy wants to do a video. Oh, this guy wants to see me, want to meet me. And they're really, it's the reason I like doing YouTube, because you can relate with all these people, you subscribers, patrons, everybody in the whole world, and it's really awesome doing it. So I hope that will really answer, because I still get, are you friends with Serpent ZA? Are you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So he's, everybody has to make a living. Okay. Put it this way. And the things which he doesn't necessarily reflect that what I agree on. Right. And I can't stop him for saying whatever, but I'm sure. Hey, hello, Emery. Long time no see. How are you doing? Bonjour. Comment allez-vous? That's a little French, I know. Yeah, so I hope you guys, understand the situation. Yeah, it's just, if you don't agree with his stuff or where, you don't have to watch his channel. A lot of people think he's out of context. He doesn't talk about. Yeah, it's true. I agree, but bonjour, hi. Oh yeah, it's bad. The AstraZeneca, that's really bad. I heard they had problems with that vaccine, and all those problem vaccines got given to Canada from the States. Yeah, that's what I heard, though. I don't know, is it true? So you guys, I hope that really answers my question, Serpent ZA, because I think a lot of my viewers want to know too. So can you guys wait a second? I just want to get something and show you guys. Just hold on, okay? So I just wanted. Sorry, guys. I haven't. I haven't contacted much pro-China video vloggers. I have some that I contact with. They are good, but we never haven't made a video or anything. Yeah, I agree. The AstraZeneca is a really low impact because they had millions of doses, but only 30 people died. So the ratio is really low, compared to other sicknesses and vaccines. So here I am trying to. So, for example, I got my phone. We keep in touch with Winston. We're talking about Winston. Okay, we still, he sent me messages. We still talk, and
Oh man, I'm really sorry to hear about your mom.
see?
That sucks, dude. Yeah, tough times. This stupid Wuhan flu has really messed the world up, Anyway, congratulations on the RV. That's awesome. I love RVs. They're so cool. It'd be really cool for you to come down when the swine flu is over. Sorry, the Wuhan flu and the swine flu. Sorry, that's also happening right now. But when that's all done and you can come down, be amazing. Looking forward to meeting up with you again. And thanks. Everything is going okay here, It's always a challenge doing what I do, but I'm very, very happy to be in the States and very happy to be a father, and things are moving forward. But yeah, the reason I've lost contact with you is this phone that I...
Okay, so guys, hope that clears the mystery between me and Winston. Okay, so as I said, if you guys don't agree what he says or whatever, don't have to watch his channel, and you might say he's really anti-China and stuff like that, and I don't know his really real thoughts, but in doing YouTube, you gotta be, for example, you gotta be really have something that interests people to watch. But the reason my channel is not really growing is because I don't BS, I don't make up shit, I don't particularly attack anybody just to get views, okay, guys? And I don't ask you to support any, to pay me money. Don't expect, everything is optional, right? You are my Patreon. I really appreciate it. It's amazing. If you're not a Patreon, you're a subscriber, just as amazing, And things are, it's just the way it is, So if you guys see that my channel isn't really growing and all that, and I'm still doing this video because I'm just being myself. I'm being what I am, and in politics, there's never a winner. Okay, you support this, you support that. There's never going to be winner. Even though you support this guy and he wins, after a few years or whatever, there's another guy that come and you'll be the loser and you'll pay the price. Don't you agree? So, and I don't like going raging on talking about, talking shit about people. That's not, how you do things for me anyways. Just everybody enjoy the life, enjoy, and me talking to you, like today, this young lady talking, and just gives you an insight what's it like being, coming to a foreign country, living here permanently. She hasn't been back from Hong Kong for 4 years. That's a very long time because Hong Kong changes so much. Lots of things are different, right? Thank you very much, Terry. I appreciate your kind comment. Yeah. And I'm just being by myself, and, you say Donald Trump, people support him, don't support him. Back in the days when the firm I worked in, we were partners with Donald Trump. So we had to meet with him before. And I know quite a bit about him, right? And as a public figure, he probably won't share his private life with you, but I know how he is, so lots of things he doesn't surprise me, right? And another thing is that my sister's a doctor, and he pissed me off because the photographer, the press wanted to take a picture with my sister with him. And then Donald Trump just grabbed my sister like that, laying on him, and took a picture. And my sister never agreed on that. And she said, hey, I'm a professional doctor. You gotta, this thing might not go down too well. And even now, the press in Hong Kong brings that photo up. And that's not a good deal. It really sucks. So that's, so if when you ask me, do I know Donald Trump, I know his real person, okay? And I don't want to talk too much about. Everybody has their own life and stuff like that. So that is what it is. And same as, let's talk a little bit about the media. You probably heard about the Apple Daily, pro democracy, the support students, and the boss has been jailed for how many months, no rights and all that. But actually, I never really agreed on his reporting. I'm not talking politics, but it's my personal experience, because in Hong Kong, in a way that I'm a public figure, believe it or not, guys. That's why I try to be humble. Okay, I'm not saying I'm rich or anything, but I'm enough. If I do something stupid, I can be on the front page. Okay, and Hong Kong would know about it, but they always dig up the negative things about our family and just throws it on the table. They would never put anything positive. They don't give a damn who you are, whatever. And the news doesn't necessarily has to be true, right? And these are the things that really gets me angry. When they talk about things, they never say they're never positive about anything. Like even my daughter's birthday party, the press came or whatever, want to make, just to understand why I did this big thing. The reporting of my daughter's birthday party, and I told them, you are from this company, I'd rather you not come and do a report because I know they're not going to be positive about it. I rather other magazines, newspaper do the report instead of they doing the report for me, because I know they're going to make something ugly, change something good into ugly, so people would find out why and just make shit up. And that is something I don't like, so that's, yeah, there's like the New York Post. Yeah, you see a lot of stuff from New York Post. So I have a question. What is our option on the future of Hong Kong? So what does Hong Kong people, I'm not saying that I support Carrie Lam or whatever. Carrie Lam's did a shit job, handling the public, the PR, and, even for me being this really humble, I think she handled it really, really badly, even now. And it's just, that's a failure of their government, I think. They got to know China Hong Kong belongs to China, and that's a fact. Like, they wanted, for example, they want Hong Kong to be independent, okay? So you guys might think, oh yeah, okay, Hong Kong be independent, like Singapore, right? But the way it is, I don't think Hong Kong will ever be independent. And there's no point fighting to be independent, because they could just shut off the tap for the water, and then Hong Kong will have no water. They'll shut off the electricity, and Hong Kong with no electricity. So water comes from China, electricity comes from Dina Bay. It's a nuclear power plant. So, and all the vegetables, all the meat comes from mainland China. So if you fight for independent, obviously China, if you're an independent country, they won't serve anything to Hong Kong unless you pay a phenomenal price, right? And another thing is, I'm not saying I'm pro Beijing, okay? Please, guys, I don't want to talk about it, but people ask me the future of Hong Kong. And since the 1997, the British left, mainland China hasn't taken a cent from the Hong Kongers. So the government now, the Treasury Department, still has a big billions of dollars US surplus in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong has never been in debt until now. So the communists never took any money from the Hong Kong government, Treasury Department. What they did is just gave all this incentive to Hong Kong to try to help Hong Kong build a better economy. But we must understand, in mainland China, people don't have much culture, and they're rude, they're not so nice and all that, which is true. And I'm not anti-China saying that, because of the culture revolution. So everything had education, culturally was interesting, had historical stuff. Everything has been damaged, and which Mao Zedong's wife made a 4 people group that made this cultural revolution. So if you guys saw my relative last week on the video on the WeChat, I get along with him, but he from time to time he talks to me and says, "Gee, you gotta forgive me. I might be rude, I might be out of line, but that's how our culture is because of the culture revolution." And the thing is, he's a young guy, but usually their parents are working parents. Okay, so it's not communist as you think. You just sit on your butt doing nothing and you get all these food stamps and stuff. It's really capitalist in China. If you don't work, you don't do anything, you're gonna get nothing. So usually the parents go and work and leaving the kids to the grandparents, bringing them up. So the grandparents are from the cultural revolution, so all the bad habits goes to the grandkids, and that's a fact. Okay, so I hope you guys understand their culture. So Hong Kong is driven by the British for so many years, so the culture obviously adapts to the British system, more westernized, and Hong Kong has never been to a revolutionary culture, hasn't been destructive of culture or anything like that, and that's, I just wanted to say that. Hope that wasn't too political, too biased or whatever side. It's just what I see. Okay. And yeah, I hope you guys are not angry or mad that I'm talking about the true bare facts, about China, and in China, they would say you have very interesting conversations with them. When you talk, they'll talk something about the communists, and then when they're official, everything changes. It's like my relative last time I talking to him, I said, "Oh, remember you got to believe in the official news." He said, "Yeah, of course, yes, of course." That laugh, sarcastic laugh. So everybody does understand how every system is there, but there's always give and take, like that. So I hope that gives you, and it's a fact. And other people in China says, "Oh, in China, so many people in China, how could one government control the whole society, right? The whole country. They got to be strict. They got to have these laws. They got to." So that's what those people think. You got to have these strict laws. You got to have this execution. You got to have, so these are the things they understand, right? So I'm only just, I'm, as my guest just now doesn't even think I'm Chinese Asian. Okay. So I'm pretty much living in between cultures. Okay. So I would never be accepted as a Caucasian, the Caucasian culture, and I would be never accepted as an Asian culture. Asian, you go there, and then I'll speak a few Cantonese words, and they think, "Oh, this guy's not local. He's one of those foreign guys, 鬼佬." And then they'll just disregard you, diss you. So that's my life. That's how it is. Oh, David, that's cool. You went to China, and people are really nice there. Yeah, and basically people are generally pretty nice. Of course there are crooks. Of course there are bad people. Everywhere, every part of the world, the corner of the world, there are good people and bad people. But generally, the mainland Chinese people are they're all right people. We don't. The best thing is we never talk about politics. We don't talk about those things because there's never a winner, right? So that's that's how I operate. So I just hope this lower part of this ending part of my live stream can give you a better understanding of why I'm doing this channel, why I'm getting not much views and subscribers is because I don't want to amplify stuff up and say this and accuse of this and that, because I can easily manipulate and do all this crap, and it'd be awesome doing it with C Milk and Winston, but the thing is, from day one I met him, okay, when his channel was really small, from that day we never talked about politics, okay, just to make it very clear. See, we talk about, I let you hear the voice message. Did you hear anything about, the communists? No, we never talk about that. We never talk politics. So we just talk about. Hopefully, I will make this channel more interesting. But thank you for that my Patreon. Jim gives me these ideas, and I try to make good use of everything from your comments, from everybody's suggestions, and all that. Yeah, so I'll try to find people to interview and just give you just a wider idea how people move to Hong Kong. And plus, real estate in Vancouver, Canada is crazy. It's every property being sold here is probably over asking, because HSBC is offering the mortgage rate less than 1%, and that's crazy. Okay, that's so low that everybody wants to invest and buy property, and you can be jobless and you can still apply for a loan, but the interest rate will be higher, but all the collateral you need is the apartment that you're buying. So you can basically borrow 80% of the property value of that money to buy your property. You can borrow 80%. So all you have to do is put 20 down. And that's the economy here. And unfortunately, how the borderline across North America, Canada, US, there's a place just below Canada. It's called Point Roberts. I don't know. Do you know about Point Roberts? It's Dennis, my Patreon. You probably know where that Point Roberts is. It's just below Canada, and it's joined. And you have to go through Canada to go back to Washington State. And once you cross that borderline, those houses will be dirt cheap. So that's the difference now, Canada and the US. When you pass that border, the real estate prices are just day and night. Now, even you buy any house here, even a rotten house that's unlivable, it's still probably $800,000 US. Okay, that's no joke, and it's not sitting around for long too. So that's, yeah. I got a text from some of my subscribers. Why don't you stop complaining? Why don't you stop whining? But basically, Canada is really cold. I don't like cold. My car is from, I got my car from California. That is not even all season tires. They're just summer tires. So that's living here is, every place has their own goodness, right? So the way you might have to be able to get some money out of Hong Kong. Now in Hong Kong, let me tell you honestly, in Hong Kong, the communists would never try to restrict Hong Kong money, financial, because Hong Kong is just not like a financial hub just for the Chinese communists. It's a financial hub for everybody, and it's a tax-free heaven in Hong Kong. It's a free port, so a lot of things you don't pay taxes. For example, the capital gains tax or anything, there's no such thing. There's no sales tax. There's no in Canada, every month you hear some type of new tax coming up, but in Hong Kong, there's no tax. So I don't think this will happen. Yeah, you know why San Gabriel is really going crazy? Arcadia, Alhambra, Monterey Park, because the Asian community, and a lot of mainlanders are moving in to Los Angeles, and they're just coming in with cases of cash to buy the houses. So prices are expensive too in Los Angeles, but not as expensive as in Canada, for sure. And by the way, if you want to compare even real estate prices to Hong Kong is even more expensive per square foot than New York City. Okay, just Yes. Hello, can you hear me still? Hello. So I'm just gonna end this live. I just hope it'll be interesting, and this mic's gonna die again because I put one full and empty battery in it. I'm just so dumb. So I hope I can see you next week, and I'll find something interesting. And take care. Okay.